Hi guys, welcome back. I wanted to talk a little bit more. I've just been sitting here kind of venting about everything that's been going on with me, and I kind of feel like I wish I could try to help you see what love is versus what love is not. And I know that I have a lot of clients in false twin flame dynamics, or you're starting to suspect it's a false twin flame. And I really want to tell you that by the end of a false twin flame union, you've already basically paid off enough karmic debt that the contract is ending. And it's by this point that you've probably met your true twin flame. If you haven't met them, you've at least been having dreams about them, or you're starting to see like your spirit guides more clearly. You're starting to see love. You're starting to see what true love is. So you're starting to also see what love is not. And there's a frequency difference. You start to feel scared when you think of your ex. You feel this, you feel fear, you feel this sense of like, oh, I can't trust anything that I'm feeling right now. I can't trust anything that is being presented to me in the 3D right now. I can't trust my readings. I can't trust my, what people are saying. I remember being so convinced that I was going to end up with my ex, who I believe now to be a false twin flame, because his energy was in all of these readings. And the energy was always, this is going to be your future husband. It's what it is. This is this person and their energy and their energy and their energy. But it's like after I went through several ego deaths, I started to see that the only thing that was resonating was our egos together. A true twin flame mirrors your soul. A false twin flame mirrors your ego, right? So ego is a program. It's a program in the 3D. In the 3D matrix, it's the Agent Smith, basically. It's why narcissists all have the same type of script. That's why we can conveniently plan what will happen in you leaving a narcissistic relationship. There's like the discard phase, gaslighting, things like that, because they all have that same program. When you break out of the program, get out of the matrix, you start to know your soul. That is when you discover a true twin flame. It's you. Your true twin flame is you. So when you know you then learn who your true twin flame is. But if you are not really going within and learning who you are, you're only ever seeing the ego self. Anyone that is matching that frequency of ego, fear and aggression and control, you will start to think that is your twin flame. Because it's just mirrored to you so obviously. It's so in your face that you will believe that to be your twin flame. But again, a true twin flame is your true soul. It is the same soul in a different body. So only when you have gone within and you understand like truly how you are as a person, like who you are as love, will you even understand what love is. Love is forgiveness. Love is patient. Love is generous. Love gives space. Love gives distance. Love gives free will, right? Once you start to notice these things in you, you will, by the law of attraction, attract someone at that vibrational frequency as well, which is where you meet your true twin flame. And by this point, you've ascended enough, vibrationally speaking, that you already paid off your karmic debt. Your karmic debt, which was very much tied to this karmic partner that you thought was a twin flame. Now, I'm not even judging, because for 3 years, publicly out loud, I told the whole world how my twin flame was so-and-so. That's not true. I do not believe him to be my twin flame any longer. But again, part of that karma for me was having to see what love is versus what love is not. Love does not seek to control or destroy or lie or manipulate. It actually lets go. Love lets go of someone. If they choose to be free, someone loving would say, I understand. I'm going to give you that space. I think you should be free. They wouldn't try to manipulate and control, right? So I'm noticing now that as we ascend as a collective, you're going to be experiencing growth spurts. And these growth spurts are going to be alarming because it's going to be like one day you're feeling comfortable, the next day you're like a totally different person, and then you have to share everything you've ever learned ever. Like me right now, I feel like I just need a word vomit and just tell you like everything I've ever discovered ever. And I guess I've been through so much in 10 years of my awakening journey that I guess want to talk about it. I just want to share what I know. I know that people might call me crazy. I talk about things that are hard to understand, hard to prove. I can't prove this stuff to you. I don't care to really. I don't care to prove it. I just want to say it. And I used to be really silent about it because, well, I just thought I'd be laughed at and ridiculed and mocked, and people would just be like, wow, she's such a freaking weirdo, talking about unicorns and aliens and shit. So, but it is real, though. I mean, I don't know about the unicorns part. I haven't seen them, but I do know aliens are real. I've seen that shit several times. But point is, I know that a lot of you right now are going through these huge growth spurts. And you might feel afraid that nobody wants to hear you, or no one can listen to you. No one can hear what you're saying because your family doesn't understand. They've not awakened to this level yet, and they've not met their true match yet. A lot of them are still, even maybe your people in your community might still be stuck in that false twin flame narrative. I understand that. And then having to feel like you're alone because you're the only one that actually might have a true twin flame. And the only comforting place you can find is in telepathy in your own head with this person, or with your spirit guides trying to take you out into nature and talk to you there with butterflies. It's so hard because you've ascended past the point of return. You're not going to be able to stay around people anymore that are not where you're at. And it feels scary. It feels like, what now then? What do I replace it with? Saying goodbye is tough, but like, what do I replace it with? And I think that a true twin flame union is you coming into union within yourself. You don't have to have somebody on your arm to prove it to the world. It's the wholeness within yourself. It's that feeling like I can be my vulnerable, authentic self and not care that people judge me. I can love me for who I am, my body. I can love me for being the beautiful, angelic person that I am. I can love me for me as I am right now and not have to actually apologize for it. And once you start embodying that authenticity, you bring in people who also vibrate at that level, one of which being your twin flame, your true counterpart. But I think 90% of the community that thinks they have a true twin flame, they may, but I think they might be getting caught up on the illusion of a specific person being that one for them. And I know all too well what that's like. Sadly, I know for 3.5 years publicly announcing this to the world what that is like, and it's embarrassing to have to say, but yeah, I was wrong about my own soul. I was wrong about who my own soul is. Because I was in the trap, I was in the matrix, I was in the ego construct of so-and-so is my twin, and that's just that spirit, and if you don't like that, well, tough shit. All the while, my guides and spirit trying to get me to see that that's not truly my soul. Who is my soul? Because that is who your true twin flame is. Your soul, not your ego. So if you're associating a twin flame with someone very much aligned in ego, you might not be aware yet that you're wrong. You might not be ready to accept fully that you've got the wrong person because you don't know the right one within yet. You might not have ascended that far yet. You might not have dissolved the ego enough to know your soul yet. Who are you after all of the programming, all of the projections, all of the beliefs, all of the subconscious things that you tell yourself? Oh, who are you? Who are you at a core level, a deep core soul level? Because if you don't know that yet, then you don't know your true soul. You don't know your true twin flame then. And again, I'm definitely not judging because it's a process. But I just recognize now I can't be around people any longer who don't know their soul. I just can't. I can't. It's exhausting. It's draining. It's off-putting. It's like I don't even want to resonate at that level anymore. And I understand this like fear for the future, like, well, then who will I ever be around? Because I can't be around so-and-so anymore. So now what? Like, now what? Who's to say the universe will even bring somebody better in? Maybe that was the best I could ever get, you know? Maybe that's the best I'll ever do. But this is where you lead by faith, not by sight, because you have to realize that when one door closes, another opens. It has to. It has to. You live in the physical 3D world where time technically exists here in the 3D. Like, time is real here. At least what we can imagine and what we see. That means that if you move, out on the 31st, you get someplace new on the 1st. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're going to have a lot of people trying to convince you that the way you're doing things is small-minded because they don't understand there's a bigger purpose. They're projecting their small-mindedness onto you now. So your twin flame and you are in a league all your own at this point. And the small-mindedness coming from people who just are not there yet could be projected onto you, but thankfully it won't stick. It will not be sticking. You're too high vibrational for that. Anything sent to you from a lower vibration will immediately just bounce off of you and go back to them anyway. So you really are untouchable at this point. But I understand so many of you are, well, I don't know. I can't really speak for all of you, but I can imagine some of you aren't happy at people around you ascending when it appears that you're not. I suppose I'm talking to people that maybe at one time even paid for some of my readings and we don't resonate anymore, and that's okay. I love you anyway. And I thank you for the support that you gave me when we were at a vibrational match. Same with friends and family that I'm not, it's okay. I love you. I'll always love you. But I'm going home now. I'm going home to my own soul now. That means I don't want to be around your soul. I want to be around my soul. And same with anyone watching. You might be feeling the same way, like you're shifting into true twin flame union within yourself. Within you. You don't even need anybody else for true twin flame union. That's the whole point. You're supposed to be learning that you are your twin. You are them. The masculine and feminine married within you. The banquet, the feast, the marriage. This is it. It's you. It doesn't take anyone external. And so it's going to really baffle minds when you don't need anyone external of you, and others that you used to associate with still do. They still need people external of them. But you're going to have to realize that the way to happiness is temporarily sadness. It's temporarily, I'm sorry I have to go. It's not temporary in that it is long lasting. Like when you tell these people goodbye, it will be forever. It will be permanent. It will be you ascend. You're in the rapture, honey. It's a spiritual rapture. It's a forever thing. But the temporary pain of it, it's really only short-lived. It's very temporary. But you do need to be made aware that there are going to be so many people that you leave behind. They're just not at that frequency of understanding yet. They don't understand why you seemingly have no pain anymore. Why you believe in imaginary things that take your pain away, and they're still addicted to substances to take their pain away. They're not going to understand it, and they're not going to be particularly pleased that you found the fountain of youth while they did not. So right now it's imperative that you recognize how far you've come, how much you've grown, how much you ascended. And it might be really tough for you to see that if you're alone like I am. Like I live alone, in a studio, and it's hard sometimes for me to like really conceptualize like how far I've come as a soul in all this time alone. In 10 years in hermit mode, like what has actually transpired? What's happened? I'm a new creation in Christ. That's what's happened. I don't even know myself because I'm discovering who she is every day, because my soul is so complex. I used to know myself really well when I was the ego, right? That's easy to understand who you are as an ego. You have a set definition of who you are based on programming, projections, a mirror, whatever. What job you do, how much you weigh, how many friends you have. That's a program though. So now you're breaking out of the program, and it can feel downright terrifying because you don't know that you're going to meet other people that have also escaped the program. And what does that feel like anyway? Is that going to be intimidating? Is it going to feel refreshing? Is it going to feel scary? Are they going to try to overpower you? Are they going to try to help you? Are they going to try to one-up you? Are they going to try to help you? If you just don't know, right? You're walking into the unknown. And I guess sometimes I regret trying to wake people up because ascension is hell. It is. And I know that sounds backwards. I don't care what it sounds like. That's how I see it. Ascension is hell. Losing everything and everyone. For the sake of what? I can't even remember the last time I smiled authentically. Like, for the sake of what? Abundance? I'm facing eviction. I don't understand what that means, abundance. So you get to this point where it's like there's this period in between the old world and the new world. It's the desert before the promised land. But you have to be okay with accepting the desert for what it is, not wanting to go back to Egypt. Because in the Bible, Egypt represents the ego. And when Moses was leading the people out of Egypt to get to the promised land, a lot of them were like, no, we had it better in Egypt. I want to go back. I had it better in the ego. I want to go back. I'm tired of like having to suffer for God. I'm tired. But the ones that were in pain, Moses was instructed, I think by God, I can't remember the whole story, but to look at the serpent, or look at the, there was a serpent that was healing all the snakes or something like that. It's very much about Kundalini energy. Keep rising, keep going, keep ascending, keep getting stronger, keep going. Don't go back to ego. The mind of man, it's already demolished anyway. It's already destroyed. You've already destroyed and dissolved your ego. Using egoic ways to comfort and nurture yourself at this point is not going to work, right? An example is me picking up an alcohol. I have vodka in my apartment, and if I were to drink right now, it would do nothing to me. Nothing. I haven't drank in months and months and months because what's the point? It won't do anything. I won't be able to get a buzz. All it will be doing is drinking poison. That's it. And I just don't want that anymore. So You get to a point where you have to get very real with yourself. And that realness is scary around people who are fake. But you realize your power. You're so powerful in your own energy, in your own soul, in your own aura, that even if people have these backbiting comments and they say shit like, wow, you're just so weird, or like, I think you work for the devil, or whatever, you know, it's going to be like, okay, that's a projection. You're going to instantly see it. You're going to know it comes from a broken place. You're going to know it's the 3D version of them. It's the external, that you've manifested it. You just need to keep going to get to the promised land. You can't go back to the 3D, the ego. You can't go back to, oh, but like they really meant it though, and why are they so mean to me, and they're so cruel? It's the matrix itself flushing out all the toxic, all the negative, so that you can get into that promised land. You have to keep affirming to get there. No, I'm always abundant. I always have money. I'm a multimillionaire. How amazing is it that I'm a multimillionaire? Can you even believe that? It's so crazy. It's like one day I was facing eviction. Next day, I'm a millionaire. Can't even believe it. Keep affirming. I know that it seems crazy, but it only seems crazy around those who aren't doing it. Because the ones that are doing it completely understand. Fake it till you make it. It's a thing. It has to happen sometimes. There is one vibration, sure, where yeah, like money is really hard for me. And then there's a million others, realities where I'm like super wealthy, have mansions and a whole bunch of really cool yachts and shit like that. It's an infinite universe. It can be all of it and none of it. It's what I choose to invest my consciousness into. My consciousness is my currency. My conscious awareness is currency. My focus is currency. Where am I putting my focus? So now that I just said, well, I'm facing eviction, I'm going to cancel that shit out immediately, revise it, and say, no, actually, that was an old reality. That's not at all the case. I'm a multimillionaire. I have millions and millions and millions. I can buy anything I want to buy, right? But again, with so many of you right now being in the desert, you're like, I just want to go back. I just want to go back because like there were really cool friends there. We could go drinking on Saturdays. We had fun and we talked about like the Kardashians and it was good shit. I really want to go back. I get that. I do. But I also don't. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. There was so much pain there. There was so much usury. I just got used and abused, and I just don't want to go back. But I also can't sit here and tell you that, like, I'm not human and I won't go back, because that's one thing I can't stand as a liar. And I'm not sitting here trying to convince anybody that, like, oh, yeah, my name's Jenna, and I'm totally changed. I'm a totally, like, born again, like, woohoo, lover for Jesus all the time. Like, no, sometimes I look at that bottle of vodka and I'm like, wow, it's right there, though. You know? Sometimes I really want to call up a pizza place and be like, hey, biggest pizza you have, please. I want to go back too. I want to go back. Sometimes I really do. And but sometimes I also want to know what it's like to be on a yacht. Sometimes I want to know what it's like to like not have to even think for a moment that I could be evicted from a place of living. Sometimes I want to think like what it would be like to have lobster maybe once in my life. Or like to meet a soulmate and have them be like, wow, you're like the best thing I've ever been with ever. Okay, so I have to stop being with assholes then. Yeah. Right. Because until the universe believes me, I won't have much to show for myself. So, of course it hurts to turn down people that are at a lower frequency, but it doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make you good. It just means you're different. You're at a different vibrational frequency. That's it. You still love them, of course. And they love you, of course. But there is still a gap in a frequency. And that gap, that hurts. That hurts. This is where releasing comes in. This is where energetic cord removal comes in. This is where it really pays to understand what this is, that it is permanent and it has to happen for the sake of you, but the sake of humanity, the sake of your guides, the sake of angels. Like, they really want you to stop going against the grain too. Like, they want you to be in the flow with abundance. Your spirit team, your soul family, everybody loves you. They want you to have peace and happiness, but you have to want it too. You have to want it more than anybody. Just because, you have a deceased ancestor on the other side trying to guide you and instruct you on being better doesn't mean you have to take their advice. There's always a choice. You have free will, right? Go back to Egypt if you want, or you could go to the promised land and see what that's about. But you have to make these decisions for yourself. It's like me as a reader. Like, I could sit here and tell you what the cards say, but like, it's up to you to believe it or not. Like, I could sit here and say like, oh yeah, your twin flame, like, they're so about you and they really want to marry you. And like, that time that you guys kissed, oh my God, they were in heaven. But if you don't believe it, then what's the point? I mean, I'm saying it for myself at that point. Like, I'm basically saying it for my own health. You're going to have to want to choose at this point, guys. You have to choose. And you choose with your focus. You choose with your belief. You choose with what is it that you want to believe. If my readings don't resonate with you anymore because you are consistently choosing to believe that anger and hostility and karma, what's their karma? How are they going to get punished today? How's this going to... Yeah, I'm not going to resonate with that anymore. So my readings are not going to, no. I would rather give you hope for the future. Tell you what the promised land might feel like. Show you what the promised land might taste like. I'd rather be that person, 1 in a million, trying to convince very few people that believe, than to be a dime a dozen trying to convince people of a reality where shit sucks. Life is hard. Everything's sucky. And I just don't want to be that girl anymore. So I'm done being that girl. Especially as a reader. I'm done being that reader. I'm just done. I've ascended. I've transmuted. I've gone way higher than even I can conceptualize right now. I've gone so deep into the universe that I've learned that I'm the universe. So now I'm not going to sit here promoting a reality that's distorted and going to get you sad and depressed simply because that's what you're addicted to. If you're addicted to the drama, the pain, the agony, I don't care. I'm not addicted to that. Go find another reader that's into that. I'm not. I'm no longer addicted to that. My readings will be about your future, about what new gifts you might have coming in, about a new soulmate or twin flame union. It's inevitable for the collective that I'm part of, that the reality we're going into, it's inevitable that everybody's going to have twin flame union. That's the glory of it all. You're all destined for twin flame union. Why? Because me, as a conscious creator, I'm creating a reality where we are all destined for that union. There is no other reality but that. That's the only one that exists for me, is everyone's going to be with their twin flame, and I'm going to be going to a restaurant one day, and I'm just going to see like 20 couples sitting at the restaurant, and they're all twin flames. And I'll get to hear every single one of them say like, oh yeah, and this is how they came to me, and oh, isn't that so romantic? And that happened, and that's my reality. So I am done trying to paint a picture for anyone else not on this vibration. That like your partner is somehow sabotaging, and then they're pissed, and they're this and they're that, and that. No. The people I read for, true twins. Your person craves you, honey. They think of you every single day. They drool over your ass. They want you all day, every day. That's it. Signed, sealed, delivered. Girl, they think about you. They obsess about you. That is where I am at this stage in the game. It's like I'm going to inform every single person that, whether you like it or not, about a frequency where true love exists. And that love is all that exists. That frequency is going to be glorious. It's going to be people in love with one another. People in love with life. And I refuse to believe anybody when they tell me I'm crazy for believing it. No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not crazy for believing it. I'm crazy if I enable you to stop believing in it. So, with that said, anyone at a lower frequency that has not ascended, you've not taken your spiritual health seriously. You've not cared enough to ascend. You didn't do the work. It's not my job to do your work for you. You didn't do your homework. Even if you paid for a reading and still didn't do your homework. If you didn't listen, you didn't transmute the pain, you didn't look at the shadow, you didn't look at your subconscious mind, you didn't do your affirmations, speak your positive whatever, you didn't do that, okay, but that's not my problem, and I will not be suffering for that any longer. I used to because I didn't want you to suffer for that. So I would take on other people's karma because I didn't want them in pain. Duh. I didn't want anybody in pain. But I understand now that karma is how we get out of pain. When you have karma, that shit hurts so bad that you go to God. You find divine love. You go within and you realize your true potential. You realize who you are. I woke up because of intense karma. So you will be waking up because of intense karma. And it's no longer my problem. I'm not here to cancel karma for anybody. Not anymore. I was trying my best, but that ship has sailed. I'm ready to actually learn what it's like to be my true authentic self, be the expression of my higher self, and love it. Not be afraid of it, not be ashamed. Because why? Because I talk about Jesus, and I talk about Christ consciousness, and I talk about God being all of us, and what's there to be ashamed of? Shame is a low vibrational frequency. It's a low vibrational thought. Shame. I don't want to live there. I'm not ashamed of this. This is who I am. I love Jesus. I love Buddha. I love me. I love my twin flame. I love everybody. I love my viewers. I love everybody. There's something to be ashamed of. When you love, you tell the world that you love it. You tell yourself that you love it. You tell your guys that you love it. There's nothing to be ashamed of in love. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to boldly change the way that I read. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe, because our time together is over. And I thank you for being here and supporting me as long as you have. I wish you the best on your journey. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.